Karl Warr and his wife Sarah are running a sustainable and environmentally friendly fishing business in Hawke's Bay. Their commercial fishing operation uses a unique cage designed by Karl that lets unwanted species and small fish escape unharmed from the net.
We're catching local fish for local people. We focus on flounder for an export and market into the Auckland fish market. But the bycatch, which is mainly gurnard, we're processing here on board the vessel under a risk management program and selling it to local people. We've been fishing out of here for over a decade. We've started out fishing here into a retail wholesale shop in Taupo where we were based, and we moved from that into catching for the local factories here. Vertical integration is really important to us to survive in this industry. We are small, so our economies of scale, we just can't compete with bigger operators. And so by vertically integrating, we can cut out a lot of the middlemen between our customers and this fish coming out of the water. If we have to go back to fishing for a factory again, we'd probably sell a boat and do something different. Yeah, it's not viable for us. We're a couple of miles out. We're heading north up to Waipariki Beachway, so the net's down now. I've been towing about 10 minutes. We'll make this tow another sort of hour 40 or so, about a 2-hour tow at this point. Every year there's more and more compliance being generated. I'd like to think that's because people have our best interests at heart, but it becomes very difficult to juggle all of that process. I've got to have a driver's licence to get to the wharf. I've got to have a licence to be able to drive the boat. The vessel has to be registered. There has to be a fishing licence in place. The vessel has to be surveyed. The survey has to be audited. To receive fish to myself, I have to be a licensed fish receiver. That has to be audited. To process fish on board, I have to have a risk management program in place. If I take that fish anywhere else, I perhaps need a food safety operating licence or another risk management program for wherever it's going to go. I have to procure quota, so that is another identity. There's ownership issues in leasing and quota, so it's not as simple as just going out and catching a fish and bringing it back and cutting it up for people. There is a real big raft of hoops I've got to jump through to get it. The future of it is efficiency and sustainability. So if I can fish sustainably and fish efficiently enough, then there is a future in catching fish for the people who live in front of where that fish lives. You know? This is bottom trawling. So what we're doing is we're herding up fish on the seafloor and trying to get them into the pen, if you like, the sheep pen, which is the tail end of the net. Now, in traditional bottom trawling, this netting would be the tail end of the net. So where it's joined onto the cage here would just be a string that would bunch it up in a knot, and then you'd lift that on with a fish in it, undo the knot, spill the fish out, tie the knot back up, put it back over, carry on fishing. So what happens with this when it's in the water is it's flexible, and as the load goes on and off the net when it's in the water, you can see how the holes open and close. So that can pinch fish as they're trying to get out of it, the little ones. And the other thing is, because it's braided, and it's like getting a nasty carpet burn when they're trying to get out. So what we're doing here is, by having a rigid cage, it means that these holes don't change shape. And the stainless is smooth, so when the little fish are in there and want to get out, they don't have to freak out about getting pinched or caught. They can fire through those holes and not suffer any abrasion. Now, because it's got a door on each side, I can simply take a door off and put a door on with different shaped holes if I want to fish different species. So at the moment, I'm catching a bit of gurnard and flounder. So I've set these hole sizes to select that type of fish. If I'm wanting to catch just big flounder, I'll go to much bigger squares, so that you've got another set of doors further up there that can interchange. I don't have access to a whole range of quota, so I'm wanting to be very specific and efficient at what I'm catching. Otherwise, I'm trying to find quota and leasing in quota for fish that I'm having trouble selling or are catching too much of. This is a small flounder net, and in terms of trying to save gas, we've put some wooden bobbins on here, which increases the surface area of the bottom of the net, which makes contact with the seafloor. That means that the bottom of the net won't dig into the seafloor, it just skims lightly across the top. Now these have been on for 12 months, so you can see there's very little wear on them really. So that's showing you that our ground contact's very light, and we're also seeing it in our fuel consumption. We on average about 6.5 litres of diesel an hour, so less than what it costs you to run your car.
We market fish by Karl, of course, catching first. He lets me know what he's got, and then I have a network of people that I either text or ring, and then I come down to the boat and he unloads and I take what I need for customers, whether that be customers that fish that's going onto a courier, go to Auckland, Taupo, Dannevirke, wherever, or local people. Word of mouth has been the main thing, but Facebook has been really great as far as getting the word out there. It's a great marketing tool. Customers are really good about the supply thing. They understand that fishing is the way fishing is. You know, sometimes the weather's good and sometimes it's not. We generally sell to private customers, so it's straight to the end user rather than restaurants, because we understand that restaurants have got fish on their menu, so there is a sort of an obligation there to supply to them, although we do have some restaurants, but generally it's straight to the end user, and people are great, you know, they understand.
This program was made with funding from New Zealand On Air.